This is the Revelator dynamic microphone, which is setting the benchmark for streamers, literally offering up a small little studio in this tiny body. But is it any good? And why am I wearing my daughter's goofy gaming headphones from Turtle Beach? Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that in a bit. By the way, I'm running this mic with the compression and EQ running and all that fancy stuff because, well, that is kind of the point of this microphone, right? This is a big one. This microphone is squarely directed at streamers and podcasters, but mostly streamers who need good sound, powerful output, and no compromise. But I should point out, it isn't just the microphone doing the heavy lifting here. It's mostly the software. And that is the special sauce that this thing is built on. Now, I did do a review of the Revelator IO24 a while back. You can check that out as well. This is basically the same thing, only in microphone form. And as for price, it sells for $200. Now, it is an all-metal body with some, and I mean some stylings taken from another unnamed microphone. Not saying anything. The buttons, they're decent, they're clicky, and the knob is fine. And it's USB-C on the back, which doesn't have much play. Now, I do like the yoke system, though the only piece of plastic here is on the tightening knob, and it does actually kind of feel cheap. It also comes with a stand, but honestly, it's a stand for a USB mic aimed at streamers and podcasters. I personally would not use this stand. It's really worth it to have some sort of boom ability with this microphone. This is a cardioid dynamic microphone, 20 Hz to 20 kHz. It is 24-bit and has a sample rate up to 96 kHz. It is USB bus powered and it has a max SPL of 135 dB. And the headphone outs, well, here's the problem. They are 22.6 milliwatts and 16 ohms, which is not enough to drive a lot of headphones, which sucks, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth as some have with the software and effects. There are a ton of great videos out there. This is the review of the microphone. I'm not showing you how to set it up perfectly. If you want something like that, check out EPOS Voxes if you really want that deep dive. What I will tell you, the messaging from the Revelator IO24 is the same. Be careful with these effects. They can take your audio from amazing to unlistenable with a single turn of a software knob. Now, to give you a small example, when I first turned the mic on and started looking at the software, the compression was set to make the audio clip. I had to lower the output gain to get it not sound like garbage. And I know there is a limiter on there, but again, you need to be careful with things like that. Too much limiter, and you're leaving a bunch of your frequencies on the table, and your dynamic range just goes out the window. No one likes listening to an audio sausage. But if you set it just right, you can get some great sounding audio out of this microphone and more than enough to lift your voice out of the mix. Now for the off-axis rejection of the PreSonus Revelator dynamic mic. This is me speaking about 4 inches off the front of the microphone. Now I'm speaking about 4 inches off from the side of the microphone. And now I'm speaking about 4 inches off from the rear of the microphone. Now for the Plosive Control on the PreSonus Revelator dynamic microphone. It's a mouthful. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. That's actually pretty decent considering. Now for the proximity effect test of the PreSonus Revelator dynamic microphone, USB microphone. Oh man, there's more. This is me speaking about 5 inches off the front of the capsule. Now I'm directly on top of the capsule. 5 inches on top of the capsule. Now let's take a look at the handling noise on this microphone, and I've already heard a bit of it, so I have a feeling it's not going to be great. Ooh, peaking up to neg 21. Ooh. Okay, let's start with the pros. This microphone has a ton of potential. There is a lot of software to make this thing do some rather impressive stuff, and it's never been considered at this price point. That sounds good if all the right pieces are in place. And frankly, it's one hell of a goldmine at this price if you're willing to put the work in to learn it. The fact that it is a dynamic cannot be undersold either. Other companies have shied away from the dynamic USB microphone due to issues with driving them. This is a really cool way to have more control over your sound And that's kind of cool. I like that PreSonus did this. As for the cons, well, the headphone outs are horrendous. My Shure SRH 440s flat out just didn't work with the microphone. The 840s did, though when I pinned them at full volume, I could barely hear myself. And these headphones are considered low impedance. They're only 44 ohms. The 440s are literally only $100. Considering some people will be using this as an interface to work their audio, more has to be done with that output. All this advanced stuff for EQ and compression and all-around voice sculpting, and you either have to run a super cheap headphone or even worse, earbuds to hear properly. That sounds like a massive oversight, and I'm hoping they can get that fixed on the next iteration. I'm also hoping this isn't just a broken piece of this microphone, which in the Revelator series, you never know. That said, I'm pretty sure this thing's just underperforming because I can hear quite well on these cheap Turtle Beach. And the noise rejection being so horrendous is another big red flag on the play. Okay, so I like the microphone, and there's a ton of great stuff here. But that headphone out is problematic. And honestly, it's for that reason that I have a hard time recommending it. $200 is a lot of money, and exactly the same price as the IO24. So honestly, if you're looking at this thinking this is your jam, I would say pick up the IO24 instead, and then there's no worries with headphones. Just go on, get whatever mic you want. But if you are hell-bent on getting this microphone, you're gonna love the experience, unless you're running with these. Let me know down below though, did I get it wrong? I would love to hear what everyone has to say about this. I love this mic. I think it could be so good. And you know, with PreSonus kind of reinventing each product as they go, this might not be the last iteration of this microphone, which is very exciting. Cheers, and I will see you in the next video.